Hey world, how are you? I hope you are having an amazing day. This is a new episode. We're just gonna go ahead and jump right on into it. Hope you guys are well and blessed. It has been a trying 2 months for myself, if I must be honest. And that's the purpose of this video today, because I've been going through some things and I have not actually necessarily been sure what's been going on. So I had to take it back to the Lord to get some answers, because I know that I am doing everything that He calls me to do. Now I may be slipping in some areas, because sometimes I feel as though I'm tired or I have overworked myself, but that's not necessarily the may not be the case. It could just be my flesh is making me feel as though I'm tired, but I'm not tired. I need to stop saying those things and claiming it into my universe, because that's not what's going on. So I wanted to go ahead and get some messages out today that I've been wanting to share with you guys. So spiritual warfare, it is real out here. It's a real battlefield. We're really fighting principalities and demons and witchcraft and warlocks. Those such things do exist. I do share on my platform about dark things, such as I use charm as an example of that. Shows demons and it shows witchcraft and it shows those things, and I use it so you guys can recognize when these things are happening in your real life. Because I use charm because it shows a visualization of what things can happen when it comes up to you and what you're fighting. So when I talk about spiritual warfare, it's basically battles that's going on behind the scenes that you can't see in your reality, but your spirit is fighting. Your spirit is battling a war that you're not familiar with. Some of us are not familiar with, but we know that we're feeling some type of way. Now, we know that we're not doing necessarily anything that's in the reality, but we know that our body is feeling some type of way. Our body's feeling tired. Our body is feeling sick, but it's not necessarily our body. It's our spirit that is battling things, that is going through things, that is going through turmoil, and that we're kind of neglecting, and we're thinking that our flesh is going through things. But when our flesh is feeling it, it is a mirror of our spirit. You have to remember that the body is a mirror of what's going on in the spirit. So you have to, once you start to understand that whatever's going on in the spiritual realm is happening and is going to happen into your physical realm. It happens in the spiritual realm first. So let's say you have a battle that's going on between your finances in the spiritual realm. It's going to come up into your physical realm to let you know that, okay, well, I need to be more alert on my finances. I need to manage my money a little bit better. That's just an example. But I have here 10 symptoms of spiritual warfare. Number 1, doubt. Now, I know there's times when we're just like, we know last week we was good, we was consistent, we was doing what we needed to do, we was getting into gear, we was making plans for ourselves, we wrote down our affirmations, but somehow this week we have a lot of doubt. We have a lot of second guessing ourselves. We have a lot of overthinking. And that is not the spirit of God. That is not our divine spirit. Because when we're operating our divine spirit, we're going with the flow. We are allowing ourselves to connect into whatever the universe or whatever God is bringing into our universe in that moment, into our life at that moment. So when we have in doubt, that's not God. God doesn't give us doubt. God does not give us fear. So we have to then go into our prayer bag, go into our affirmations, go into meditations, and process different not teachings, I'm sorry, my words are getting tangled up. Process different tools and process a new way of thinking, a different way of how to handle that situation, because we know that we are not doubtful. We know that that is not our energy. That is not who we are genuinely. So we have to rebuke that. We have to say, you know what, this is not me. I'm not a doubtful person. Let me regain my energy. Let me regain my power. And then you have number 2, confusion. Now, you know, last week you was doing good. Everything was working out for you. Everything was prospering. Everything was good. But now somehow this week you are feeling confused about the things that you know that you wrote down that was clear that you heard God say to you to do this week? He told you to make sure that you went and handled this week. Make sure you went to the grocery store and got all your groceries, because next week they're not going to have these things available for you. He told you to make sure that you transfer the money into your other bank account, because Apple Pay going to be trying to take your money out this week, and you know how they like to do. They're going to continue to debit your account. He told you all of these things, but yet you're confused on what is being presented to you today. You're confused on what happened in between of what you did last week into this week. Somehow the messages have got mixed up. You're confused and you're not sure how. That is the trick. Do not fall into that, because you know God's energy, you know God's spirit, you know his voice. Do not allow your old self, the past way of how you thought, of how you used to think, come back and make you think that how God has cleansed you up and how God has moved you into a different way of thinking, a different programming system. Do not become confused. Do not think that you're doing anything improper because you're feeling confused. Confusion is not of God. Confusion is of the enemy. Confusion, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, and confusion is one of those things. Because when you are confused, you start making decisions out of confusion. You start doing things out of alignment. You just start doing things just because you're not sure of what you're doing. You're just going along with how you're feeling in the moment, and you're not making logical decisions. Now we have number 3. The biggest one, I feel like, for me, is distractions. That is spiritual warfare. That is something coming up against you that knows that you have something to do. Just for an example, you know that you have this project that you need to get through, or you have you're creating content, and you know that you create content every day at 5 p.m. But this week, something has been happening to you at 5 p.m. every day. Your phone's not working, your internet gone out, something has happened to the connection with the platform you're using. TikTok's not working that day, Instagram shut down that day, or maybe Facebook shut down. It's not uploading your videos. Every time you upload, it's coming up blurry, or it's not taking your captions or your hashtags. It's not uploading your video properly, so it's off a little bit. The segments of it is knocked off. It's not because of you. It's because the enemy comes through, with the broadcasting systems too, with the airlines, with the airwaves. So if you're giving out good messages or something that somebody needs to hear, of course there's going to be some distractions there. Of course there's going to be something that's going to block you in these areas in certain ways. If you have, you're trying to get to work on time, and you've been trying your hardest to get to work on time, and you know that every time you're late, it's a problem. And this week, everything, you done left for work early, you done got up early, but for some reason, something keeps happening. There's been car accidents. There's been things happening with your car. There's been things happening at work, so you're not able to even get in the building. It's not you. It's the energy is trying to block you because it sees that you're trying to do well. The enemy sees that you're trying to do things differently. It's like, oh, you're trying to do things differently this week? Trying to do things differently from last week? Oh, no, let me just remind her who she used to be. Let me remind him of who he used to be real quick. You always late. Why are you going to try to be work today on time? That's the distraction. Push through. Push through it. If you know that you're going to be late for something, please reach out and let someone know what's going on with you. Communicate. Because a lot of us are going through a lot of things and we're not sure how to share it with others. Like for me, the stuff that I go through most of the time, I get tired of sharing. Like I get to a point where I'm like, okay, last week I was sick. Last week I was sick. Last week I was in a car accident. Last week this happened. Last week this happened. I'm pretty sure by now people are thinking that, oh yeah, she just making up stuff. Like, cause there's no way. But when you recognize that you are going through spiritual warfare and you having battles, you will understand a little bit more. Like sometimes it's not easy for that person that's going through these battles to reach out and let you know, well, yeah, this week the same thing is going on with me. But all you can do is pray for your sister and your brother. All you can do is hope that God gets them through this, that God helps them through this trial and this tribulation that they're going through in this moment, because this is real. This is real things that we're going through that sometimes we don't even understand. And it's hard for us, it's hard for me to reach out to say the same things over and over. Yo, yeah, I'm going through another spiritual warfare this week. I'm going through another spiritual attack. Because some people don't understand it. But it has been a lot for me when I wrote down this list. I'm like, yes, a lot of this has been me. And I have just been pushing through it, because I know that that's not where I'm trying to be, or that's not my end game. I know that there's so much more for me, so I need to avoid doubt, confusion, and distractions. And it was leading us to number 4, which is temptations. Now, if we know that for me, hanging out past 10 p.m. or hanging past out 12 a.m. and me not being home at a certain time is going to stop my flow for tomorrow. It's going to stop my production, which is going to stop my progress, going to stop my growth. I'm not going to do those things anymore. So if someone is tempting me to go out or to do certain things that I no longer partake in, or that I felt weak in those areas, I now know how to have boundaries and come home earlier. I know now to say, well, I can go, but I need to be back at my house at this time. I need to make sure that I'm driving my car, or that I have, that I'm getting back to the space that I need to be, because this helps me. If I have a bedtime at 1 a.m., I need to make sure that I'm at least home at 12 a.m. so I can take my shower, I can say my prayers, I can meditate and go to sleep. So when you're realizing that you're coming into temptations about that's tempting you to go back to your old ways, you have to step out of that cycle. You have to step out of eating after 10 p.m. Me, I have that habit really bad. Eating after 10 p.m. and then I wake up with a stomach ache in the morning. Or I'll wake up with a headache in the morning, because my sugar levels are different. My sugar levels have probably elevated overnight, because your body is still operating even though you sleep. Your body is still breaking down the food. It's still going to, digest the food for your body to be able to gain the nutrients. But you're sleeping, and you do use energy while you're sleeping as well, so your body is still moving. So who knows where that energy might have went to, and what type of sugar it might have created, what type of carbohydrates it might have used while I was sleeping. So I shouldn't be eating after a certain time, especially if I'm in my sleep state. So these are all things that I feel like when you're trying to progress, and when you're trying to be moving into this different season of you, and trying to make sure that you're growing and healing, you are going to get hit with these situations to where it's like, oh, I'm going to attempt to go out tonight. I'm going to attempt to go out and do this and do that, when I don't necessarily need to. I don't have the time to do these things. But you can, now that you know that you have created boundaries within your life for yourself, you just apply them. Do not allow spiritual warfare to win. Do not allow the attacks of the enemy to placate you, to make you feel like you have not overcome that obstacle already. Leading us to number 5, we have your faith is weakened. Your faith is extremely weak when you're going through spiritual warfare, because you're like, hey, I've already fasted, I already prayed about this, I already meditated about this. I don't understand what's going on. I'm not understanding why God has left me, or why God has forsaken me, and why I'm not receiving these blessings that he said he's going to give to me. What we have to understand is that even though we're going through things, doesn't mean that we're going to get that turnaround right then and there. Like, even when you start a new job, you have to prove to yourself 90 days before they make you permanent in that position. So sometimes that's how it is when you're going through the trials and the tribulations in your life. You just have to prove to yourself 90 days that this is going to be my change. This is going to be my new. This is going to be my now, because I have started a new cycle, a new habit within my life. So I'm no longer going to do the old things that I did. So I have to get used to this new cycle and putting in this new implanting new situations and new responses to how I handle situations. And once I get that down pat, I'll shift to my next level. I'll shift into my next gear. I'll shift into my upgrading my system. But we don't know. We can't do that if we allow ourselves to be weak in our faith while we're going through situations. I did have a fast 3 weeks ago about faith. Like, you have to have that faith. You have to have that trust. And then you have to have the confidence in knowing that even though you're going through these things, this is just a temporary state of mind. This is just a temporary state of being. And I'm going to get through this as long as I put my mind on the best, on the things that are suited for me, on the things that is destined for me, because I know that through this all, I'm going to prevail. Moving us into number 6, loss of hope. You're going through all of this. You're going through doubt, confusion, distractions. You're being tempted to go back to your old self. Now your faith is weak. You done lost all hope in life. You done lost all hope into that situation. You've already applied for the job. You already applied for the assistance. You already applied to get help in certain situations, and you're like, you know what? I'm over it. It's been this amount of time. I've been almost 2-3 years since I applied for that job. There's no way I'm gonna hear back from them. But what God wants you to do is walk in faith and knowing that you have these things and that it's done for you, but it has not physically appeared. What's happening is it's on hold and standby in the spiritual realm because you got goons and goblins fighting you for it. Like they're trying to pull you down back there, and God's trying to get you to make sure that you're equipped in the physical, because it's being tempted, it's being tampered with, it's being messed with in the spiritual realm, and God's trying to make sure that it's cleaned up and that before you can get the blessing, trying to make sure that it's a clear route for you, because right about now you have all of this spiritual warfare that's coming up against your blessings that he cannot give it to you in the physical, because you got to clear that out. You got to clear out the mess. You got to clear out the illusion of you receiving this blessing right now, because it's not coming. It's not coming right now because we're fighting for it in the spiritual realm. You're back here fighting your old self for it. Your old self like, that's mine. That's not yours. You can't have it. This is mine. And you over here like, no, that's me. I deserve it. I put in the hard work for it. You don't even know how to be calm. You don't even know how to be humble. You don't even know how to do the certain things that I've grown to do. So this is not your blessing. So that's really what's going on. You're in the battlefield with you versus you. Your higher self versus your older self, and versus the other demons that come along with you trying to persevere. So you are back there trying to fight against the people who want your blessings. You're back there trying to fight against people who said that you couldn't have it. You're back there fighting your old self who said that you didn't deserve it. So then we're moving into number 7. With all that fighting, you have lack of peace. You can't sleep at night. You can't focus in the daytime. You're trying to make sure you have everything in order and in line for the blessings that you're trying to receive, which is not, it's taking you away from the things that you need to do on a daily basis. It's taking you away from your normal routine. It's taking you away from you spending time with God. It's taking you away from you spending that intimate moment with you just connecting in to get the direction and the guidance and the order that you need on a daily basis. It's taken away from that. It's taken away from you. You have no peace, so you can tap in to receive those clarity messages. When your mind is full of clutter, your life is full of clutter. When we can't think properly, it causes us to be more confused. We're not able to make discerning decisions. So we have to be able to keep our peace. We have to be able to tap in to get a piece of God and allow God to tap into us, to allow us to have this intimate moment with him, so we can have that release. So we can be able to be freed from the things that is keeping us tied up in the spiritual realm during this spiritual warfare, during this battle, doing this. We need peace. We need our faith, we need our hope, and we need our peace, because this is what's going to keep us through. This is going to give us longevity through this situation, through this moment. And then we have number 8. While you're going through all of this, you're like, okay, I'm keeping my peace, I'm keeping my faith, I'm keeping my hope. You get sick. Like, you just get sick. All of a sudden, you're doing the things you need to do. God tells you to go out and speak to more people, but then you get sick each and every time you do it. That's what's been happening to me. Each and every time I'm doing something that God is asking me to do, or each and every time that I'm going out and I'm speaking to my sisters or my brothers, or I'm having a moment, I get sick. And I have to start the journey all back over again with separating, isolating myself, and then having to fight once again to go back outside and be amongst the people. My poor little heart can't take this. Like, I'm like, okay, so should I just stay in the house and don't go outside? But that's not what God wants me to do. God doesn't want us to sit in isolation and be separated from people. He wants us to be amongst each other. He wants us to touch and feel and heal one another and talk to each other and help us understand each other more, to understand who he is, to understand our goals, and to motivate one another, to help encourage each other. He wants us to do that for one another. But if I'm constantly realizing that every time I'm doing something that God's wanting me to do, that I'm having a problem in my flesh, it's going to make me feel depleted. It's going to make me feel defeated. It's going to make me feel as though, well, I might as well give up on this. There's no point. But I don't give up. I sit, I reset, and I go back at it. And I let people know, like, okay, well, yeah, I was sick. This did happen to me. This is what's going on. And they can either believe what I'm saying or they don't believe what I'm saying. But we all know what we go through. We all know what we're going through. Whether you're going through a spiritual warfare battle and it's not illnesses, and you're going through losing finances. You're going through where you've lost a job but you're not able to do certain things anymore. That happens. But we have to understand what is happening to us, and that's keeping us separated. Is this an attack of the enemy? Or is this God's trying to get me to hear his voice a little clearer? Because I know if I'm doing the things that God's asking me to do, I highly believe that there's going to be condemnation for me listening and doing God's will. That is the enemy trying to distract me, to making me think that what God's asking me to do is wrong. Now, if you're doing something that's not of God's will, and you know, because God has already told you, step back from that, stop doing that, stay away from this, stop doing this, then that is God condemning you. So we have to understand the difference in those two. When you're not doing something, or what God is asking you to do is going to be a result. And the same thing, but that's condemnation. Like, that's from him, that's God's punishment. And then you have, when you're doing you're operating with the enemy and you're going outside of yourself, you sabotaging, then God's going to let you feel what you decided that you wanted to do. So that's also that, okay, well, you have free will to do whatever you want to do. You did it my way, and the enemy got mad, so he was like, hey, I'm gonna let you just touch her one time because, you know, I'm still giving her growth. But if you have God who's like, okay, you know what, I'm tired of you. You won't listen. I have told you how to do this over and over and over, and you still doing it the wrong way. So now I have to take things from you because you're playing games. And then we have number 9, resentment to God. We've been through all these trials. We've been through all these things. We done lost our car. We done lost our house. But we still giving God praise. We still giving God his glory. We still doing the things we need to do. But now it's just like we've come resentful towards God, because it's like, God, there's no way you're asking me to be out here and humiliate myself. You asking me to go out here and make myself look like a fool. You making me out here go out here praising your name, doing all this. But yet, where you at? Where you at, God? You saying here you want me to go out here and represent your kingdom, but you haven't came through with these blessings that you said I was going to receive. And it's not even about the blessings that I'm waiting for. I'm just asking for my peace, God. Where's the peace of you that you said that I was going to have if I continue to seek your name, continue to seek your face? Where's that peace at? Where's the joy that you said I was going to receive? Because all I'm seeing right now that I'm receiving is guilt, shame, and confusion. And I'm losing a lot of people around me. I'm losing my friends. I'm losing my family members. I'm losing just life in general. But you want me to continue to depend on you, to have this faith, have this hope? How? When all I could do is resent you because you're causing all of this confusion in my life. I don't understand that. But God doesn't cause confusion. God does eliminate a lot of things out of our life. He does remove a lot of things out of our life because he's closing out cycles so we can invite better, invite more. We can elevate ourselves. We can elevate our hearts. We can elevate our minds. We can see things differently. We could step back and be like, you know what? I shouldn't do that. That is disrespectful. I do need to work a little harder. Hey, I am a procrastinator. I am lazy. I do have a problem with communication. I do suck with my time management. Sometimes it is God just letting you see you, and it's not necessarily him forgetting you. God doesn't forget us. He sits us alone for a little while so we can see what we're doing and what steps we need to make do a little better next time. But to resent him, I've been there. Where you just constantly shut him out. You become hardened. Your heart is no longer pumping for God. It's only operating in selfless behavior. It's only self-sabotaging. There is no connection to God at all. You're like, you know what? No, I'm good. I don't want your input. I don't want your information. I don't want your validation. I don't need nothing from you because you have done nothing for me. And that is not how God wants us to be. Even if we're going through things and we feel like we've lost so much because he's taking so much from us, it's either you're elevating or you have caused this destruction in your life. You have to take some accountability because you don't know how to get to work on time, because you don't know how to communicate, because you don't know how to handle situations. All of these things have happened in your life. Not because God was like, oh, you don't deserve that. Then we have number 10, suicidal depression. When you've been going through all of this warfare for so much, you just be like, God, take me out. Take me out of the game. I don't want to play no more. I don't want to be on this team. I don't want to play with these folks. I don't want to deal with this because it's too much for me. I'd rather you just come, just release me from this because this is too much. I don't know why you chose me to do this battle in the first place because I don't know what I'm doing. And you can constantly just want me to continue to show up. Nope, I'd rather tap out and I'd rather just meet you on the other side. We put our minds in this mental turmoil, self-sabotaging ourselves when God is just like, that's not me, bruh. That's things that is going on that you need to pay attention to. Rebuke the spirit of depression. Rebuke the spirit of suicide. I want you to understand how powerful you are, and you can claim back your power. You can claim back your victory. You can speak life into yourself, but you have to understand what is going on with you. These are not things of God. God does not put you in these situations: doubt, confusion, distraction, temptation, weakness, lack of hope, lack of peace, unusual illnesses, resentment towards God, not wanting to do anything, wanting to commit suicide, all of this depression energy. You have to step away from that and recognize who you are and speak life into yourself and say, I am a queen, I am a king, I am glorious, I am going to get through this, I am going to have a better day tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be, I'm going to have a better moment today. This little moment right here was nothing. I'm not going to continue to carry this in. I'm not going to have to take the accident that I had to work with me. Matter of fact, I'm going to call out from work today because I need a mental health day. I'm not going to allow the situation that happened prior to me getting to home from work to bring that energy home. I'm going to leave that outside. We have to operate on these on how we are feeling and understanding our emotions and then work from the logical standpoint of that. So when we're battling spiritual warfare, the best way we can handle this is just by speaking what we're feeling out. No, that is not of me. No, I don't want, no, that energy does not belong to me. I'm full of love. So you gotta self-affirm it. You gotta self-affirm how you're wanting to feel and what you know is true. You do not operate in the spiritual warfare energy if you know that it is not of God. If God has already said that it's not of me and you know that it's not of you, don't claim it. Don't walk with it. Don't sit in it. Don't go near it. Once it is upon you, you must understand it because it's inside of you. You're going to feel these symptoms inside of you. So once you start feeling these symptoms and you know that this is not how you operate normally, get away from it. Don't feed into it. Don't give it the energy that it wants from you. Don't play with it. Like, you know what? No, that's not me. That's not who I am. So you can shift back into your positive energy. You have the light of you is going to rage out that darkness. You have to remember that you are light. You are a vessel. So when you having these symptoms of spiritual warfare, you have to turn on your light. Let the light shine the darkness out. And so you can be redeemed. Once you turn that light on, everything will flee. Every attempt of the Satan, of the enemy, of you that is self-sabotaging yourself will flee. You will operate in that new energy of love, that new energy of peace, that new energy of joy, that new energy of happiness. And these, like I said, these are 10 symptoms, so like only you're going to feel them. But when we see people going through things, the signs of spiritual warfare we're going to see is number 1, isolation. Like I stated, with myself, I've been in the house for a long time, but I'm so thankful for the friends that God sends to me on my path to get me out of the house, to get me out of isolation, because sometimes I'll sit in here and not think that it's spiritual warfare. I will feel as if I'm okay because I'm talking to God all day long. I'm communicating with God. But then you have the enemy that will come through that will block certain things from you, or try to block you from getting to things what God wants you to do because you're just rather stay in the house. You just rather be alone. You have to break that isolation pattern. You have to reach out to people. You have to talk to people. You have to want to do more. You have to push through the door, push through the gateway, push through the blockages, push through the boulders, push through the poles that you done built, the walls you have barricaded. Push through that, because that is a symptom of spirit. That is a sign of spiritual warfare, and we're not claiming that. We're not going to isolate ourselves when we know we have work to do. Then we have avoidance is number 2. This is another sign of spiritual warfare. Number 1 was isolation. Number 2 is avoidance. You avoid people. You avoid certain situations and opportunities that you know that God is calling you to do. I had this situation really bad, which I'm proud that I have got a handle on it, but I couldn't understand the difference between God's opportunity that's coming to me, and then there's opportunities that I was running from. So I was like, okay, God, I need you to clarify for me, am I avoiding situations that you're giving me, opportunities that you're giving to me? So I had to start putting that into my prayer mode a little bit stronger, because I got tired of walking away from opportunities just because I was afraid of them. I got tired of walking away from people because I thought that they were going to hurt me. I got tired of avoiding things and because I thought that I wasn't ready. So now I'm just like, okay, God, if this is for me, I know that it's going to work out, and you're going to guide me every step to do it. And that's really how it happens. God sends me an opportunity, and he helps me. He gives me the vision for it, and I push through it, and I get through it with no problem. So when God gives you something, you're going to know it, because he's going to operate. You guys are going to operate together to get the mission accomplished. He's going to give you step by step. He's going to tell you what to do, who to talk to, and how to make this come through for you. So if you're feeling isolated, or if you're avoiding certain things, you pray. Get in your prayer bag right now and ask God for some ideas, some motivation, some influence, some ordering of your steps, because you're not feeling very peaceful and joyous right now to do it on your own. Then we have number 3, lifelessness. You don't want to do anything. So you're isolating yourself, you're avoiding people. Now you just feel like you have nothing to do. You have nothing to do with life. You just want to be alone. Like, I don't see the point of being around people. I don't see the point of doing things. There's no need. I have no joy. I have no creative energy. I have nothing to do. I just rather sit in this house and be by myself, creating suicidal depression, thoughts and ideas when we do that. So we've created an isolation, avoidance, and lifelessness. So now we're just sitting just chilling, and now we're moving into withdrawal. We no longer want to be a part of life. We no longer want to be a part of the world with people. So we're withdrawing ourselves from anything. We don't want to have fun. We don't want to laugh. We don't want to go places. We don't want to be around our family or friends. We just rather be on our own. Like, I'm sitting here as I say this. I'm like, okay, am I giving a testimony for myself right now? Because yes, I go through this a lot, where I just want to be by myself, where I avoid people. I don't have the lifelessness, but I withdraw from a lot of people, places, and things. But then I also, as I'm looking at this, is nothing but spiritual warfare, because I had to do all of these things because I was sick. I had to do all of these things because I was ill. I'm going through spiritual warfare battles, not even recognizing it. Like, I'll choose to stay in the house instead of me pushing through and go over to someone's house. And then that's not even a situation. In most cases, I don't mind going to someone's house or pulling up on people and being around. But most of the time, my friends are busy. So it's like, okay, so God, I have no choice but to stay in the house. That'd be my mind. But that's not true. I can go plenty in other places by myself, which I do not have a problem with doing. But sometimes I be like, I don't want to be around people. And I'm going to change that. Starting this week, I'm going to change that. I'm going to not speak on me not wanting to be around people. I'm going to say, God, send me to the people who I need to be around today. Guys, send me in the areas of where my presence needs to be blessed or known today. Or send me to the places where I need to meet somebody so they can help me. So as long as I switch my wordings and my phrases and my thoughts, I bring things to me that I need. I attract, I do not chase. So once I start doing that, I think I will operate a little bit better, right? I think so, guys. And we're moving into number 5, erratic behavior. I really don't have that too much, but you know, when you going through things and you're just spazzing out, like you're tired of people, you're spazzing on people, you catching attitudes all the time, you just wanting to be disconnected from your true personality, which is normally probably bubbly and friendly. But this week, you just like, nah, forget everybody, forget this. I ain't even trying to do it. That's you going through spiritual warfare. That is the Jezebel spirit coming through, just making you have temper tantrums. And we must press through from that too. So out of all of these signs and symptoms that I've given you 10 symptoms of spiritual warfare and 5 signs of spiritual warfare. The symptoms are what you're going to feel, and the signs are what we're going to see. So if you're noticing that you have a friend that are going through any of these signs, isolation, avoidance, lifelessness, withdrawal, erratic behavior, reach out to them. Give them some love. Ask them on a date to lunch. Treat them to a mani-pedi. Treat them to a spa day. Treat them to outside nature time. Just walk with them and be a true friend to them, because they're going through some things that they may not be able to explain, or they may not even understand. And the best ways to overcome the spiritual warfare battles, I want you guys to read Ephesians 6. Read Ephesians 6 as many times as you need to familiarize yourself with the passage, with the scriptures, with God's word in this, because this is about speaking about the spirit, the armor of God, and making sure that you are equipped day and night, protecting yourself with the armor, making sure that your head is protected from the top of your head to the soles of your feet. God is going to make sure that he covers you as long as you're staying connected in with his presence, with his word, and with his mission that he has for you. You guys are going to accomplish things together beautifully. And then we have, you must pray to God daily. Pray, meditate with God daily. Pray with him on a daily. Ask, what do you need to do? Ask him how you're going to do it. Ask him how I'm going to get there. Ask him how, when, where. These questions are important for your journey. Because if you talk to him about how you're feeling, pray to him to get these energies off of you. Pray for better understanding. Pray for clarity. Pray for redemption. Pray for revelation. You will get better understanding of why you're going through spiritual warfare at that moment. Because sometimes once we recognize that we're all connected to one, and it's one body, one man, one body, one sound, one consciousness, the spiritual warfare we may be going through may not even be for us. It may be for your brother or your sister that you're going through the spiritual warfare this week. It may be something that they're going through that you're feeling the symptoms of, because we're all connected. So you may have to tap into a little bit deeper and ask God, what is he asking you to do? Because he may want you to interfere and connect and pray on behalf of your sister or your brother. This is why we have to connect in daily. And while you're up there praying, meditate, converse, have that conversation with God. Let him know how you're feeling and what you're needing. Because once we start having these conversations, we'll have this beautiful revelation and understanding of how we can help each other more. Like, spiritual warfare has been something that has been the beginning of times. We are a spiritual being in a vessel. We are a body. We're a spiritual being in a body. The body is what we must kill daily. We must kill the flesh desires daily in order to feed our spirit. So if our spirit is being neglected and it's getting fight on every day, it's getting beat on, it's being trampled on because you don't feed it. It's malnourished. It's dying. It weighs less than 2 pounds because you barely give it any nutrients. But your flesh is big and mighty and hefty. You take care of that flesh every day, all day. You just have to do your spirit the same. So when you're going through spiritual warfare, it's letting you know that there's something ain't right. And I need to tap in and talk to God today. I need to ask God, what is going on with me? Because I'm not feeling good in my flesh. My spirit has been feeling down, which is causing me to feel all of these symptoms in my flesh. What is going on in my spiritual sense that I'm not understanding right now, God? Help me understand it a little better. Give me a little preview of what's going on back there so I can fight. So I don't know which armor I'm not holding on to right now. I'm not representing clearly. Do I need to go get my helmet? Because I'm allowing all these mental attacks to come in. I'm allowing all these ideas and all of these visions from other people to attack what I really want to do. I'm allowing all of these, the way the world see me, to make me feel small. Do I not have my helmet on, God? What am I missing? These are the questions that you have to ask. And make sure that you're reading the words, so you make sure that you're getting clear answers, because God's going to speak to you in all ways. The more and more I sit here and I'm thinking about, like, okay, yeah, I've been going through so much things, y'all. But I'm just thankful for the glory. I'm thankful for the grace that God has bestowed on my life. Because I am nothing without him, and I know that. I've had COVID twice, and I'm thankful that God has gotten me through. I've had attacks on my immune system for the month of May, June. So I've been battling things with me just not being able to breathe properly, me being not being able to sleep, me not being able to eat, me not being able to think properly. I've been having issues with my skin, issues with my, just having pains in my body, just random, getting dizzy all the time. So you have to push through. And I'm saying this to you guys because God got me through all of that. God walked me through and what I needed to do each and every day when I had COVID, each and every day when I was battling the pain in my body. I had pain in my body for the whole month of June. It was hard for me to even get up to make a video. It was hard for me to even go out one night with my friend. She invited me to go to this poetry, and I was like, sure, I'll go to the poetry event with her. I went, and from that moment right there, I was like, okay, God, I didn't feel good then, but I still went. And because I went, God opened up a door for me, for placed me on the stage for the first time doing one of my poems, which was great because I pushed through. And I still want to push through today and push through all the things that I might be going through, or God, though, that might be coming towards me in the future. But I'm here. I want to be in this moment now, knowing that God got me through that. And even though the enemy was trying to keep me in the house, God still was like, nope, there's something bigger for you. So now I have other things that I've been putting off on the side, because I'm like, God, there's no way I'm going to be able to go in the studio and record this. There's no way I'm going to be able to go make and do this and do that and do that. How? When I'm sick all the time. But God has confirmed to me and given me the confidence once again to know that I could do all things with Christ who strengthens me, and there's no weapon that forms against me shall prosper, and any weapon that forms against me, God is going to come through and make sure that my pain is turned into my purpose. God's going to make sure that I'm going to push through and prevail, because these are things that we have to overcome in the flesh. But my spirit is already grown. My flesh is falling behind the spirit, but I have to get through this test first. So I'm happy to know that I've gotten through these things and I've gotten through these trials. And I just want to let you guys know that if you're going through things, God got you. Just continue to pray, continue to fast, continue to meditate, continue to drink your water, continue to get your vitamin C, vitamin D, go outside in the sun, be in nature, and love on yourself more and more. And I hope that this message helps you, because I know that sometimes when we're going through things, we're going through it solo and we don't speak out on it, and we're not really sure. We think that we're causing all of this self-destruction, but really it's just symptoms of spiritual warfare. So I want you guys to read into Ephesians 6. And if you have any questions about it, we can talk about it. Don't forget to join my Facebook group and also like my Facebook page. Follow me on Instagram. My name is Free Your Journey on Instagram. And please, if you are on TikTok, my name there is QueenRow_111. Let's have some fun. I hope to see you guys soon. Like and share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like and share this video to any and everyone that you know that may be going through spiritual warfare, that shows the signs or the symptoms. Or if you're feeling symptoms, share it out to someone that you feel that can learn from this video, because we are here to learn and grow from each other. Guys, I hope you have an amazing day. Stay true to you. Remember who you are.